I don't trust him. I'm not going through that. I mean, somebody in your family dies. If you get hurt, if you have an accident.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome Mike Nichols from Stockton Pentecostal Church. If you come forward, please, and do the invocation.
Thank you for the opportunity. Dear gracious, kind and heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to be able to stand before you once more. Lord, we thank you for being able to humble ourselves and be in the presence of these men and women that serve our county elected officials. Lord, we pray, God, that you'll just send down a blessing upon this county. Lord, we ask, God, that you'll touch the blessings of the people here. Lord, if there's one that don't know you, God, we pray that you would reach down and speak to that heart before it's too late. Lord, we ask that these men and women serve our county that's elected, you'll give them the wisdom and the knowledge to serve this county, to be a blessing to this county. We ask, God, that you open up the windows of heaven. You bless these people. Show them, Lord, that you will lead, you will guide this county in the right way. As long as they're in your will, this county will be blessed. Lord, I pray for the prosperity. I pray for financial blessing. Lord, I pray for everything that needs to be done. Let it come to this county. But only if they acknowledge you first, Lord. They've got to be led by you, Lord, for they cannot lead this county. But God, I know the men and women that serve are after your heart. So we pray, God, for the blessings. We pray for the wisdom and knowledge to do our jobs and to do what's right. And we'll always give you the glory and the honor and praise. For it's without you, Lord, we can do nothing. The Bible says in the book of Philippians, with you we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, I appreciate it. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll.
Jeff Harmon.
Here.
John Hurt. Darrell Hammond. Joe Biden.
Here.
Greg Allen.
Here.
Chelsea Biden.
All right, as a reminder, if you want to speak, we have a sign in up here. I think we had somebody call, say they're going to be a little late, but they want to speak. So, is there anybody else that would like to speak? Just right there. Just right there. We don't read it. All right, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Are there any questions before we do that? All right, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carried. All right. Is there any reason we shouldn't pay the bills? Hearing none, bills will be paid. Fund transfers. Treasurer's claim fund transfers.
Okay, we need to transfer from the general fund into the jail fund, $35,000. LGA fund back to general fund, $40,000. From the road fund to the general fund, $44,000, for a total of $119,000.
Okay, so these fund transfers are a result of cash flow. Until we can start collecting property taxes there this fall, the cash flow each fund has a separate checking account, so we have to transfer from one to another, and so that we can pay the bill, pay payroll, pay all those things for the appropriate funds. I entertain a motion to approve the fund transfer.
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. All right, motion carried. Treasurer's report.
Okay, the ending balance, as of July 31st, 2019, in the general fund, $209,375.51. Road fund, $819,656.55. Jail fund, $38,609.11. LGEA, $2,006.73. Solid waste, $13,447.46. And 911, $151,327.
Any questions or comments on treasurer's report? All right, now we'll move on to departmental reports. Mr. Allen?
Okay, I got a few updates. Community center, work on the daycare section has been completed. And Big Sandy's picked up their keys. They moved some stuff in the storage and they're starting to move other, like desks and stuff in probably next week. So she said she had an order in to help get moved from Big Sandy to college, and they haven't responded yet to give her a date. So she's getting some stuff moved in. I've got a lift in the gym now, so I can start repairing the drop ceiling that's damaged and check the lights out to upgrade those to LEDs on the lamps. The test paint in the gym to test adhesion passed. So we know from Sherwin-Williams that we got a good paint that will stick to the floor. And that was one of my major concerns, to make sure we pay for something that will stay and it lasts. Judicial Center, acid wash did not remove the white effervescent from the brick. So Sherwin-Williams says they have something that'll work. And they're sending me a test sample. I haven't got it yet, but it's ordered. If it doesn't work, we did an exact paint match that we can paint that brick and all the white will be gone. That's bleeding off of it, so that's a good thing. The deposits will be covered up. I signed a contract on the 911 Homeland Security Grant to purchase the CAD equipment for our 911 system to move here.
Yeah.
So that's done, and it's going to be, the contract has been forwarded to the executive director for signature. As soon as that's signed, in about a week or so, I'll get it back, and then we can start the bid process to get the equipment. Let's see. We met, Larry and I met with the architect up at the site at the battlefield for the new restaurant. And that went well. The bathrooms are going to be really nice. We received the first schematic plans today on moving forward with that restaurant. And we'll get the final plans in a few weeks so we can go forward with the bid process on it. So that's going forward. Loan the Baxter Bridge. The work's begun on Loan the Baxter Bridge. They've been hammering the footer, and they brought the steel in, and they said they should be pouring concrete this evening. So no later than tomorrow, they'll be pouring concrete. So that's a good thing for those people. They've been really patient, and it's been hard for them to wait. But so that's about all my updates. Anyone got any questions on anything?
If you would, while you're giving a report, item 4C is about the box cover distribution. Give us an update on
The box covers. I've already received two sets of the plans for the box covers. That's the White Oak and Laurel Branch, and the prices are really great. They got a master contract, so they got a state contract. We don't have to bid that. And as far as weight limits, he said whatever we can bring over the road, we can take across the box cover. So we don't have to worry about the weight limit that we worry about with our other typical bridges. Of course, Matt's got those. Y'all got a copy of those or whatever to look at. But the price, it's really substantially lower. We can build quite a few for what we build a conventional bridge for.
When will they start?
When
will they start?
The construction process of those, it's 4 to 6 weeks out after we order a bridge, after we order one. And then we will put those in ourselves. So we don't have to have anybody put it in for us. We don't have to wait on anybody to construct them. So we put them in.
That's right. So we can approve this tonight, and then we order tomorrow.
If you approve those tonight, then we can order them, and that 4-week process will start. And like I said, the great thing about them, I think they said, they commented that the other counties were loving it too, is that we can put a lot more bridges in, and we can put them in ourselves, and we don't have to depend on the contract.
And we're looking at even expanding that when we apply for 80-20 bridge money, so that we could, because this would qualify, the box covers qualify for the 80-20 money.
Yep.
We obviously have a few bridges that we do need to replace that are concrete bridges, but during the next 4 years, we'll work toward removing all the wood bridges that we can and putting in box covers, because once we do that, in our lifetime, we won't have to worry about those again.
And in the near future, we want to be reviewing those bridges to see which ones that we can go forward with. On the wood bridge.
But a certain way these has to be turned, or can you just turn them?
The good thing about them too is, the plus with them is that the company goes out with us.
Yeah.
And checks the creek itself and how much flow it needs, and they design them for us.
Okay.
We don't have to pay an engineer to design them. We don't have that upfront cost like we normally have, which is pretty
I
costly.
know that much more water, their heads have kind of been turned wrong with everything from the start. Now in the water, they'll be all right, because it's just
Yeah.
straight, you know, so,
And
That'll be good.
and it raises the one at White Oak higher
yeah.
on the end, so we can build up to it. It's gonna be much nicer.
Okay.
And we can move it just a little bit to,
Yeah.
to help with that problem you're talking about.
Well, good.
Because, where we're putting it in, we got some options.
The thing about that is about if people move mobile homes and things in, you know.
Oh, yeah.
If they're not angled right, then it makes a mess for everybody, you know.
Yeah, we can look at that. Larry's gonna be construction manager, so that'll work.
So we need, try to fix it, take somebody move a mobile home, which we want to, you know.
Yeah, and we've got experience of putting these together. We already built one in the county, so
Yeah,
we learned some tricks on
that's good.
how to get them in better and faster.
What about future bridges? We've already got contracts for such as Cheap Cemetery Road.
That's on that bridge in Kentucky, or
It's on the bridge
yeah,
in
it's on the
Kentucky.
bridge in Kentucky, and that's all down by the state.
Yep.
Yeah, every
It's
one
out
of
of our
ours,
control.
what we got, 8 or 9 that's gonna be
Yeah.
installed over the
Yeah.
next 4 years. And then the state handles that from start to finish.
We don't have it on.
So that's 8 bridges in the county, a couple of them state, and half, I guess about half and half.
It's half county, half state bridge.
So that's 4 bridges at least that we're gonna get replaced. And if using these box covers, and based on the cost of them, we should be able to replace 3 bridges for the price of one.
Yep.
And like I said, and not have to worry about them in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
And I'm lobbying, I've been in Frankfurt all day today, meeting with the Senate and Representative and the legislative leaders and the governor, and we've been pushing for a continuation of cost severance money and those kind of things. We're also trying to get some discretionary money to do these types of things. It's just, you gotta get down there and keep gathering and hoping until we can get what we can get. But hopefully, like I said, over the next 3 or 4 years, I'd like to eliminate wooden bridges as far as county roads with bridges.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
You have anything, Andrew? You have anything, Robert?
We're down about 200 to 300 left on the 911 call list.
How many roads have we patched? Larry, road?
I'd say 35.
And we use about, half of our patch?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've used about 250 ton of cold patch on about 35 roads. We're still continuing on that.
I've traveled some of it, it's really.
Yeah, it's working well. It's sticking good. It looks just like blacktop. Some of the hills, I think it may struggle to last as long as we want the flat because of tire spinning and stuff on it, but for the most part, it's been holding up real well.
Yeah, they couldn't go to the hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit dangerous with the roller.
Yeah.
All right, committee reports. We don't have any committees reporting tonight. Item 4A is to receive the sheriff's tax settlement. See the sheriff and his staff here. They will go ahead and come forward. It's actually 4G.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we prepared this accompanying schedules of accounts due to and from Magoffin County and its taxing districts by Carson Montgomery, Sheriff of Magoffin County. As of June 30, 2019, these schedules are the responsibility of the Sheriff's Office. Our responsibility was to make a compilation and review of the information submitted as the general property, public service, and supplemental tax bills for the year 2018 by the Sheriff. We did not audit this report, and accordingly, we did not express an opinion or conclusion on the accompanying schedules. The first schedule is the general fund, and basically what we've done is we have the charges at the top, and that's all the stuff off the receipt forms and all that. We have our real estate at $949,800.88. For tangible properties at $198,909.67. And we have supplemental at $22.79. The franchise taxes, which is we've called public service, $5,462.43, $261,601.71. and $29,255.04. And then we have our penalties of 5%, 10%, and our sheriff's fee. Now we come down to our credits. We have on our collections of real estate tangible and supplemental $1,006,495.55. The collections on the real estate, bank, supplemental, and tangible for public service, $280,532.94. Then we have our decreases, which are the exonerations on real tax, real property of $10,118.07, and on the tangible, $173.15. Our uncollected tax, $52,347.91 on real estate, $26,319.74 on tangible, $117.07 on inventory, and $118.05 on your public service. And we have our discounts of $19,597.03, the sheriff's fee of $55.29.40, and then we have a small overpayment of 3 cents that we just call other. And with our commissions, it's $44,674.76, and on the franchise portion of the commissions, $12,451.84. So the total due to the sheriff's fund would be $0 for the general. As far as the special levies, the first one is the forestry fund. We have total forestry charges of $2772.42. Total forestry credits of $2772.42. Taking into account all the uncollected, the discounts, and the commissions and the sheriff's fees. The special levies with the extension service, the library fund, and the health fund. We have a total charges of $1,106,236.70, and then we come down to our credits. Our decreases on the corrections, $79.25.47 for real property, tangible $130.76. The uncollected real estate, $41,004.44. Uncollected tangible, $19,964.09. And the uncollected real public service, $89.16, for a total of $69,113.92. And then we come down into our extension collections. We have a total collections of $362,597.08. Total library fund, $388,682.03. Total health fund, $254.77.78. And that gives us a total due sheriff and special levies of $111. On our schools, we have total charges of $1,649,135. And then total credits in the same amount. Total due from the sheriff is 0. On page 6, we have our summary and proof of reports. And this is basically just the total, all of it. And we have total charges to the sheriff's office, $2,549,122.05. Man, keeps pulling the page. And then we have total credits of $2,549,123.16, and there's a difference of $1.11. Percentage of taxes collected by the sheriff. We take our total gross collections before discounts and penalties, and then the total to be collected plus the franchise minus our exonerations, and we get a 94.04% collection rate.
Any questions on the tax settlement? Hearing none, clerk, will you just mark the minutes that the tax settlement has been received. Thank you, ma'am. All right, we get back on the right agenda here. All right, 4A is to consider approve the aluminum box cover systems and materials from Contact Engineered Solutions per the Kentucky Master Agreement for FEMA projects on Laurel Branch Road in the amount of $32,636.82 and White Oak Road Bridge at $29,694.34. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, any discussion? Mr. Bridges, of the box cover, we stopped there just a minute. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4B, consider approve $1 million flood insurance coverage. The premium is $29.46 through Metropolitan Property and Casualty Insurance. This is just an annual thing that we have to do. Any questions on that? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made, is there a second? Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4C, consider approved resolution for CACO lease on the road department truck. Even though we approved it, when we more or less said we were financing through that lease, one of the particulars is that we adopt the resolution. Any questions on that? This is on the map that we're doing through CACO.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just one of the steps in the process. This is where we get that Mack truck, and we pay interest on it for a year, and then we take it and sell it and actually make money on it. Even the one that was done back in 2009, before the paperwork up, and they made $5,000 or $6,000 on that one too. Yeah, but I don't know, there's some confusion, I guess, on that. I know I talked to the Lee County judge and the Johnson County judge, and they were both skeptical, they said, when they went into it. And you sitting there when the Lee County judge said that, and they leased it for $142,000. A year later, took them to Alabama and sold it for $149,000. So you pretty much use it for free for a year.
Just gotta keep it maintained.
Yeah, we'll do that. Actually, don't have to really keep it clean. They said that they drove them down there dirty and they cleaned them in Alabama. We'll clean them. All right, I entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Make the motion.
Motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. All right. We have a resolution for the continuity of government. Basically, this is a requirement through the emergency management. It more or less just restates what's already in the law. Is that not right, Greg?
That's correct.
I guess they just want us to go ahead and acknowledge that we have something in place that should I or my deputy judge be unavailable to perform the duties, they would go by law. And then what by law means that one of you three would come together and decide who was going to be judge until we got back. So I'd entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made. Don't read that to the record. All right, I've got a motion. Is there a second?
I'll say.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right. All right, now we get to the resolutions on our veterans. And you say that he's gonna read, who's reading Skid? You reading Skid? D? Okay. The first one is to consider approve a resolution declaring Cold Branch Road, County Road 1017 from mile point 0 to mile point 843 be forever known as Corporal Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick Memorial Road. And we have a resolution that we'd like read into the minutes. And Mr. Tackett, if you come do the honor, please. And thank you for being here and doing this. I so appreciate it.
I appreciate it very much. Resolution. Whereas the Magoffin County Fiscal Court wishes to recognize the contributions and sacrifices made by Corporal Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick to his country. And whereas Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick was born March 25th, 1929 in Magoffin County, and whereas Corporal Patrick enlisted in the United States Army in the early part of 1951. After completing his training, he received orders to serve in Korea. He was assigned to Company G of the 7th Infantry of the 30th Division. After arriving in Korea, it did not take long for Corporal Patrick and his unit to engage with the enemy. During one of their engagement, the division was in a defensive position in the ridge near Changnyeong, Korea. The company came under heavy attack by a superior enemy force employed automatic weapons and small armed fire. Corporal Patrick, a rifleman in the 2nd platoon, realized very quickly he was in position to take action to help his unit, and company recognized the work to save many lives of his unit. He took action and fiercely exposed himself to the devastating hostile fire, shooting his rifle as rapidly as possible and threw hand grenades with accuracy, which inflicted heavy casualties among the on-rushing enemy. He remained at his position until a wounded comrade was evacuated and his unit was successfully reorganized. Corporal Skidmore Patrick gallantly and explanatory action reflects high credit for himself and the military service. And whereas Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick heroic action were awarded the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Congressional Medal of Honor, and many commendations. And whereas the person, Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick, received a letter from Colonel Julia B. Lindsay, Chief of Staff of the United States Army, describing Corporal Patrick's action and gained him widely acclaimed recognition while serving in Korea with Company G of the 7th Infantry of the 30th Division. Whereas Corporal Patrick made it back home to tell about his experience in the war and died in his latter years at the VA Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky, of cancer on March 19, 1984. Corporal Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick lies in perfect sleep in the hands of our Supreme Commander at the Bluegrass Cemetery in Sewell, Kentucky. Now therefore, he hereby resolved that the Cold Branch Road, County Road 1017 from mile point 0.00 and ending at mile point 0843 be forever known as Floyd Franklin Skidmore Patrick Memorial Highway.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution. Get the motion. Second. Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. No. Carries. All right. The next one is for Forrest Witt, PFC Forrest Witt. You doing that phone right? Yes, sir. All right. We have two brothers that were killed during World War II, and I've actually, through Facebook, have been in contact with a relative and found out that there was another brother that went over, and so I'm trying to get more information on that. So this is way long past due. Go ahead.
Magoffin County Fiscal Court Resolution. Whereas the Magoffin Fiscal Court wishes to recognize the contribution and sacrifice made by Gunners Mate 3rd Class William Brown Witt to his country, and whereas William Brown Witt was born March 27, 1919 in Magoffin County, And whereas Gunner's Mate Third Class William Brown-Whit visited the United States in the early part of 1941. After completing his training, he was assigned to the USS Arizona Duty Station, Pearl Harbor, in Honolulu, Hawaii. Whereas that the day before the attack on Pearl Harbor, the crew of 1,177 was returning the USS Arizona for its duty on the high sea was projected to enter the United States of America. That same day, the USS Arizona took on a full load of fuel, which was nearly 1.5 million gallons. The crew had completed their duty for that day and looking forward to another bright day, proudly serving their country on the USS Arizona. They woke the next day to the unusual gunfire and bombs that were exploding everywhere. The crew was madly manning their battle stations, but it was not looking good for the USS Arizona. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese dealt the United States a heavy loss of live ship, planes, equipment. All but 2 of the 8 battleships that were targeted during the attack repaired and returned to the Navy's fleet. The USS West Virginia, the USS California, both sunk completely, but the Navy raised and reused them. It would be a different story for the battleship USS Arizona. The ship had experienced the most devastating damage as well as losing all the 355 of their crew members. Gunner's Mate Third Class William Brown-Whit and his fellow crew members lie in memorial at the bottom of Pearl Harbor and are in the hands of the Supreme Commander. The USS Arizona still leaks to the oil today, and many say the ship is still bleeding and wants to report to duty. Whereas Gunner's Mate Third Class was awarded Postmaster's Commission for Valor and Heroism during the discharge of his duty, which resulted in his being killed in action in the USS Navy. Whereas William Parent, Bowwit, and Josephine Whit received a hand letter from Rear Admiral Randall Jacobs, Chief of Bureau of Navigation, expressing the Department's sincere sympathy. The letter informed them that after the exhaustive search, it had been found impossible to locate their son, Gunner's Mate Third Class William Brown-Whit, U.S. Navy, and had been officially declared to have lost his life in service to his country on December 7th. Now, therefore, it's ordered resolved that the Sand Bottom Road CR-1163R started at a mile marker 0.0 and then at mile marker 0.589 be forever known as PFC Forrest Whit and Brothers Gunners Mate Third Class William Brown-Whit. One more to read. Magoffin County Fiscal Court Resolution. Whereas the Magoffin County Fiscal Court wishes to recognize the contribution and sacrifice made by Private First Class Forrest Whit to his country. Whereas Forrest Whit was born September 26, 1925 in Magoffin County. Whereas PFC Forrest Whit enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in the late part of 1943 and after completing his training was assigned to the Pacific Theater of World War II with Japan. PFC Whit unit ended up on the Rockland Island, the main island of Okinawa. This was one of their main battles in the Pacific, the other being the Battle of Rigaud, which lasted from February 19th to June 21st, 1945. After some hard hand-to-hand combat, PFC Whit was able to take a minute to write home to his mother. He told her he's not to worry, but knew that she would anyway. He planned to write again later and gave a letter updated, but later never came from PFC Forrest Whit after performing his duty at the heart of the battle. He died from wounds on May the 28th, 1945. Whereas the family received a letter from President Harry S. Truman that read, "In grateful memory of Forrest Whit, United States Marine Corps, who died in the service of his country in Okinawa Island, May 18, 1945. And whereas PFC Whit was awarded the Purple Heart for wounds received in action resulting in the death of May 18, 1945. Whereas PFC Forrest Whit never made it back to Magoffin County and is now resting in peaceful sleep the hands of the Supreme Commander in the National Memorial Cemetery in Pacific, Section Plot O, Grave 288, 2177, from the Third Honolulu. Now, whereas the Jury Beverage Office, Sand Bottom Road, CR 1163R, started at the mile marker 0.0 and then at mile marker 0.589, leave forever known as PFC Forest Widow Brothers Gunner Mate 3rd Class Brad Brown.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution for Forest Widow. Motion been made, is there a second? I would second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Entertain a motion for William Byron with. Motion been made. I will second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We'll be setting dates for putting the signs up, doing a dedication. We'll try to get those out to the press. The first one we done was we had some schedule conflicts amongst a lot of folks, and we finally got it. Just kind of a last minute ordeal. So everything worked great, but we'd like for it to be a lot bigger, but it just didn't turn out that way. Not that anybody had any issues with anybody. It was just that we just couldn't get everything together at the same time. But hopefully, now that we've been there, done that, we've learned something from it, we'll make it better for the next one. All right, any of y'all have anything else to say? All right. Consider approve awarding bid for the purchase of tile and covers for the FY 2020 with the option to renew annually. We got these in late yesterday, based on the time that they went late. They come in at 1 o'clock like they were supposed to. We had the public opening. And given that there's a lot to look at, a lot to compare, I want to move that we table this until a later meeting. There's a lot of identical pricing, and I know in school districts we were permitted to award multiple contracts when we were doing it on catalog pricing, catalog discounts. And I want to clarify that with DLG that they have the same opinion. There will be some that we will award multiple contracts, and I'll discuss it with you, Greg. I haven't been able to get with you since yesterday. So I'd make a motion that we table this until another meeting. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? And then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All motion carried. Consider approve advertising for bids for the purchase of structural steel. Actually, would you address that right quick?
In order to do the rail and cribbing projects, we have to buy steel from a company, and we need 132-pound structural rail. We're probably going to buy more than $30,000 worth in the next year because we have a lot of rail and cribbing projects coming up. So if we have to buy more than $30,000, we need to bid the steel purchase out.
And that is just the steel itself.
That's not the drilling.
The driving, that is the steel itself. All right, I entertain a motion to authorize advertising for bids for the purchase of structural steel T-rail.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, contract to approve, consider approved contract for bore drilling. Ashley, go ahead and explain that right quick too.
FEMA requires that we do bore drilling at sites where there's not pre-existing rail and cribbing within 200 feet in order for them to reimburse us for the rail and cribbing projects associated with the flooding from February and March. So in order to get money back on those, we have to send a driller out there, find out how deep the rock is and what kind of rock it is, make sure that rail and cribbing will hold up in that location. And I discussed it with the contractor that currently does our rail and cribbing projects, and he agreed to do it for $300 a site. That's 2 holes at each site, and that's a good price based on what I've heard other counties are paying, and also the FEMA estimate on it. So that's how we came to that figure. And I think there's 28 sites, so that's $8,400.
And we did discuss this with FEMA to see whether or not we had to bid it out or not. They advised us we did not. So this contract will be with Chris Isaac Enterprises, and you have a copy of it in your packet if you want to look at it or Have any more questions on it? I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll approve it.
You approve it? Motion been made by Buck, is there a second? Motion made and second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All motion carried. All right. I stuck it in all these papers here. Oh, yeah. I sit here looking at it. All right, we had a petition back in, I believe it was May, at the May meeting from Kathy Montgomery and Connie Hyton to close Lawrence Stevens Road, County Road 1168. Toward the end of July, early August, we got a petition from Charles Joseph and Joy Joseph. They owned, one owns one side of the road, one owns the other. It's uncontested. Mr. County Attorney, we're going to go ahead and close, right?
Sure, we've done some of those before. It's a lot better than the other process.
Yes, yes. All right, I'd entertain a motion to close County Road 1168 Lawrence Stevens Road based on a petition from all parties involved.
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and second. Any further discussion?
So no two sides of this or nothing?
This.
Everybody's in agreement?
They both, we got both of them.
Okay.
Both of them have deeds to the property on each side. It's just a little short stretch, don't go from here to that wall back there.
Time aware of this.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. They didn't even know it's county road. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, those opposed no. Approved. All right, now we're on the tax rates. We have received our calculations from the state on property tax rates. Once again, we had a decline in assessed values in the county. What that means is when that happens, that the calculated rate to generate the same amount of money goes up. Once again, it has exceeded the constitutional maximum of 50 cents a hundred. Last year's rates were 48.5 cents. This year's rates, they calculate them at 53.7 to generate the same amount of money. We're not going to do that, or I'm not going to recommend doing that. With last year, the year before last, we had 39 instead of going with the maximum. The next year, we went to 48.5. That cost the county about $30,000 a year annually. Once again, we've got to start whittling these down. So rather than even keep them the same, I'm going to make a motion that we drop the rate 1 more cent to 47.5. That's going to cost the county in between $60,000 and $69,000 of potential revenue. But we've got to start bringing those rates down because we can't invite people into the community. We can't invite business in the community if we want to tax them to tax the far out of it. We just got to keep bringing it down. Based on the statistics from 2018, we are the highest county tax in the state. As far as county taxing goes, excluding the schools, and the schools is nowhere near tops in the state because we got some down central North Kentucky that's way up in the dollars. But as far as the county goes, and the library and the soul and the health and all those in combination, we are the highest in that too. And we can't do that. So I will make a motion based on the calculation for personal property and for real property. I'm going to move that we set the rate at 47.50 cents per hundred for real property and 62.9 for personal property. That's a drop from 64.4. The calculation should be 63, so we're down under that just a little bit. And like I said, as far as the total amount collectible, that's about $69,000. That's not a major drop, but it does start putting money back into the people's pockets, and we can make do. Just based on calculations, looking at the way our expenditures have been going, the first 6 months of this year, we were down spending wise about $250,000 versus the same based on the prior 6 months. So We gotta keep getting leaner and leaner and leaner. We gotta do more with less, and we can't keep pulling money out of people's pockets. Everything's going up. Water's going up, sewer's going up, garbage. We're gonna be talking about it probably at the next meeting. So, that's a whole nother issue. But,
It's sad, the truth is, when people's losing their properties, courthouse fails. And we can't keep doing that. The property owners are the true Magoffin County investors of our county. And we have to do what to do to help them. And we're, like I say, willing here and there and trying to do as much with less.
based on the way the rates have went since, and I had some charts here, but, you know, how technology is, they don't always want to work with me. But in 2015, the tax rates that we had could have potentially generated $1,668,000. And that rate in at that year was 43.6 cents. So it was a lesser rate, generating a whole lot more money. Our values in the county were a lot higher. As over the past 4 years, by us whittling that down by little bits and pieces, it went from 50 cents per hundred in 2016 when we didn't have the rates and they were set because of the 45 days. It generated, that's when it generated 1.6, it was 50 cents a hundred, 1,650,000. The next year, in 2017, when we dropped it to 49 cents, it went from 1.65 million to 1.482. Last year, at 48.5 cents, it dropped to 1,462,000, and this drops it down to 1.4 million, about 62,000 and some change, about 69, 62. So we're doing more. We're trying to do more with less, trying to take less and less out of the people's pockets. So you can see since 2015, the amount collectible has went from 1.668 million to 1.402. So that's a couple $100,000 that we back into our community that they're not having to send down to the county. And I have a motion on the board. You got the rates for tonight that I will make a motion for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need a second.
Okay.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion on the tax rate? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. No, motion carries. All right, old business. Is there any old business that we need to address?
I did for Carter.
No, that's on communications. All right, hearing none. Communications from Judge Executive. All right. The guys that have been doing the co-patch, a couple of guys that went back to college. So we've got a couple of spots now. I recommend that we fill one of them, the temporary spots with Kelsey Blanton, part-time, seasonal, temporary at $10 an hour. I'll make that in form of motion.
I'll make one.
You want to say it one more second? Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
How many of them will try to hire? I mean,
I'll probably just hire another one for sure.
one more.
Yeah, because let me get to the next one. All right, we've had J.R. Ratliff working as part-time doing the coal patch. He's an experienced person with blacktop and just haven't fallen into her lap really. And I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and hire him full-time at our full-time rate of $12 an hour.
His name again?
J.R. Ratliff. I'll make that form of motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. No, motion carries. One of the guys that I hired as part-time temporary, y'all authorized me to hire up to 6. We didn't fill all those slots. One of them we talked about it when we were buying a tractor, and I hired Jerry Rao, and I just need to ratify that here. So make a motion to hire Jerry Rao, temporary seasonal, and he's cutting grass for more or less, just trying to get that caught up. We have 2 tractors now running, well, one of them down right now, but we'll have 2 when we get them back up at $10 an hour. Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, the final thing, we've had, the community center has one person that's working full-time. It's one of the $12 an hour people, and she's able to be there 5 days a week. We was using recycle people back and forth to try to cover those other 2 days. So what we've been short since Mr. Russell left. And looking at the situation, I believe it's best that we let our full-time person work Monday through Friday, and that we hire somebody to work the weekends. And that'd be Saturday and Sunday. That way we got 7-day coverage. We've got the floors a lot playable, more playable now. The weather's going to start cooling off. There'll be a lot more kids want to come play golf. And we've got a pop machine in there for them. They're able to buy their own drinks. And like I said, we'll be able to cover the weekends with one person. We need somebody in there on the weekends to perform custodial duties. With Big Sandy Ad being in the back part of the building, part of our agreement is that we'll perform the custodial duties. Once they leave there on Friday, if our person leaves on Friday and they come in on Monday, that place not going to be cleaned up. So I'm going to make a motion that we hire Katie Hale, part-time, not to exceed 30 hours, so we can keep the average of 30 hours, and pay her at $10 an hour. Make that formal motion.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those no, motion carries. All right. Just a couple of things on comments from me. There's some people that have talked about the speed on the county roads, and I know this has been an issue in the city. I've heard about speed bumps. I've heard about speed limit signs, congested area signs, and I've had some ask for children play signs. We got a lot of signs that we got to get up. We got street signs we got to put up. We got to put stop signs up, and in areas that we deem from the administrative side, the executive side, we'll address them. The one thing, and I know people may have never thought about this because I didn't. I heard it 3 years ago, and it didn't really do anything about it until he said it. But the federal guide on putting up signs, there's strict guidelines on that. They have to be a certain size. They have to have a certain font to be able to be seen. They have to meet a lot of criteria. One of the things that they highly advise to not put up is a children at play sign, because it implies that governmental entity is allowing children to play in the road. All right, so in this day of litigation, somebody somewhere has got paid because there's been children at play sign in the road. So we're not going to be putting those up. There's some out there in the counties. I don't know if the county put them up. They're on private property. If they're on county property, we'll probably take them down. But we can put up slow congested area. The issue with speed bumps, we'll address that when the time comes. Right now, we're trying to fill potholes. We're trying to clean ditch lines out. We're trying to get bridges fixed. We're trying to get people to and from their houses. We're trying to get kids safely to and from school. So as time permits and as time goes along and we accomplish a lot of these major goals, we'll address those things too. Not saying they're not important, because they are. We want to keep our children safe. That's a high priority. That's why we're wanting to work on bridges and make sure that the buses going across, that those buses meet those weight limits and all those things that make sure our kids get to and from school safely. Anybody got any comment on that? All right, that's all I've got. Say again? We'll add that. Well, we go ahead and do it now. We need to add one thing to the agenda. What is that? Senior citizens in kind. It's in the back of your packet. We got to be in after I sent the agenda out. And we wasn't sure if we'd already done it or not. We've done a little research and we hadn't. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the senior citizens in kind.
I'll second.
I didn't make the motion.
Oh,
Second motion.
yeah, I'll make some.
All right. Motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion?
We're going to take care of it.
Yeah, take care of it. Yeah, make sure the papers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. All right. Comments from the magistrates. All right, you gonna go first? Well, let Buck go first. You went first.
As far as me, bridges and the tiles, and he answered a bunch of my questions, and I'm sure a lot of people's questions. White Big Road, though, I've not heard much about that.
Well, the last thing that I heard on that was from the engineers, and that's when we talked about that accelerated bridge construction. And they said when they are about 4 to 6 weeks out, that they'll be going and visiting every single household on that road, explaining the process and letting them know when they're coming. Because the way this is going to work, as they explained it to me, is that they're going to notify the people, have everything that they know they're coming. And it'll be like a Friday night, they'll show up at 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and 10 hours later, they'll pull out and be done. But they're going to have some type of apparatus, and I don't know what it is. He said there'll be a temporary bridge that they could immediately deploy if there needs to be an ambulance or something come in. But they haven't called back with the date, and it's been a couple months ago we talked about it. But that's the next list, next bridge on the Bridge of Kentucky list. And then we got one, I think, on the state road up at Oakley, just past the bridge where the walk bridge is, on the way up. There's a small bridge up there, I think is the next one.
One more thing, we got a part-time grader operator.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have another part-time grader.
I'd like to, yeah.
Because our grader right now, the time to grade the road.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm looking at it. Well, that's why we kind of put more people on the mowers, so the graders run more too. Because he's been running bush hog. Yeah.
We need full-time, right there, like you said. this
Yeah, I mean,
is
somebody.
Yeah, right now.
Now time to fix the road to the way.
You got anything, Joe?
I was glad Larry, these guys in there, Joe Parker, get out as quick as they can get out, you know, and appreciate all the work. They're hot and all.
Yeah, we got a good tax.
Yeah. The grant, the water line, you update on it or anything?
Well, apparently they're letting some money out, and I'm in discussions again with the people at the state on some AML band and finance money. I found out today that Wood County got some, so I'm making a push for that. That'd be a whole lot better to try to do the grant process or the loan processes, which is where it's been. And the problem with the loan process is, one, we can't make a payment back. Grant process is we can't make a match. Because, you know, it's putting that water line will cost a whole lot of money. If you're looking at 50-50 or 80-20, our share of it, we just don't have in cash. So it's still on the front burner. We're still pushing that because that's something we got to have. And I mentioned that today when we was down there with the leadership and the governor, that we still have people that don't have the opportunity to get water. You know, it's not there going to where they can even get to it.
That's right.
So that's something we're still pushing.
Yeah, I think Larry, I put a lot of pressure on him. I call him pretty often, you know, especially Larry there. This morning I didn't call him, Larry called me. He said he thought there's something bad wrong, you know, call the didn't call, you know. So I keep him on his toes, you know, a whole lot. But they do a good job, and the boys are working, does a wonderful job, you know. You ought to go out and see some of the work they do. If you ain't seen it, they do a wonderful job, you know. And my district, people's been real patient, I'll just be honest. Ain't been a whole lot said or nothing, you know. They may name something too, they don't. We know you'll get it, you know, in your time. So they've been real good to me, you know, and everything. So I want to thank the people in District 1, you know, for their patience, you know. Like Matt said before, we're coming. It may take us a while, but we're coming. It paid the people on Lake Branch, or whether they're ditching over there, it just paid the one on that ditch and holding that road over there, you know. And them people, had one boy say he's been there 28 years, and there's never been a ditch pulled on that road. They've been there and pulled certain parts and cleaned out the tiles and stuff. But they cleaned the whole road this time, going to. By the end of this week, they'll be done, you know. It's paid to see that, you know, over there, and they're tickled to death. You know.
We'll be doing that year round.
Yeah, that's what I say, it's coming
That's
everybody.
why we want the excavator, so
Yeah.
we can do it all year round.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything more about the sidewalk on 4th?
No, it's got some more hoops to jump through. That was just the initial phase. All right. Carter, you want to come on?
My part?
Yeah, well, your first one on there, we'll get paid.
Next one is, this is
hopefully you know, we're rescue squad is in the process of trying to obtain we have one drone, but it's about 4 years old, and it's okay for open areas, winter time when we don't have leaves. What we're trying to do, we've so far, we've raised some money, I'll get that in a minute. If you look at the, what we're looking at is a $6,399.99. Then all the accessories go there, total is about $7,016. We started out at $10,000 and the price was up on these. Now there's competition between a couple of companies and they're dropping. So they may drop more later, but we don't know about that. So that's what the cost of that one is. And to upgrade, go up further, would be an upgradation, is our drone coordinator officer. The next step above this would be getting into military, CIA, and all that kind of stuff, which costs a lot more. So this is going to be about the top of the line. And if Jason wants to tell you right quick what 60/40 and 5/12 resolution means.
The only thing on this is different resolutions on the camera, and most of them in the $2,000 to $3,000 range is 320 resolutions, which just shows the heat signature. This one will show the outline, you tell if it's human or dog or any of that stuff. You can see through so much brush, and it's just a whole lot better upgraded.
Yeah, so yeah, we can buy a $2,000 camera with 320 resolution. But why not go? We try to go for the top. If we're going to do it, let's do it right, and try to find someone. Now it's not 100%. Nothing's ever 100%. But with this, we'll be really up top. Actually, we're the top of Eastern Kentucky. Others have them, but we're trying to upgrade. And in fact, this weekend we've got about 4 that's going to a 16-hour class at Hazard on drone training, stuff like that. We've collected about $6,300 toward the $7,016. So that puts us a little bit over about $800 short. So what I'm asking is if y'all could fund that $800, or do I need to wait to see if we get more commitment from the people? I give people originally $5, $10. We got a Logan donated for $6,200. I had some. I got a gentleman that did give $200 or $2,500. I'm sorry, $2,500, and we did get enough to match that $2,500 to make the $5,300. Have another gentleman that's going to donate another $1,000, which makes it to $6,300. So we're about $800 short. And what I'm asking if y'all make up that difference. And you already have. I will say that Matt, the last year's administration, they did give us $1,000 to match something else. We were going to try to go for it, and that didn't go through with. But he said he would honor that $1,000 from last year. So that's part of that $6,300. So right now we're about $800 short.
Would this thing be insurable, you know, to where you get insurance on it in case, you know?
Yeah, I have forms by our insurance company. They haven't given me a quote for what it would cost. The only time it would be out though is like there's emergency situations, you know, search and rescue, something like that. We have the capability of getting insurance on it, but I don't know what it's going to cost. So, do you want me to come back with a quote on that later? Or I don't know if Paycom would do it or not.
Well, it could be almost called inland marine. And we just need to look into that. It may be that it can fall right in on our policy.
Yeah, okay, all right, we'll do that. But, so that's where we're standing right now, and so we get purchases.
Let's play the court.
Money there,
Well, this would come out of LGA.
Well, I will tell you, yeah, the rescue grant, Robert, if I'm correct, $80,000 for the whole state, and for a rescue grant through emergency management. And the general already passed it down that no funding for drones, no funding for ATVs or side-by-sides. So that went out the door. So we're back to doing our own scraping and doing what we come up with ourselves. So that's where no state. Although we are going to try to apply for a small windshield cutter with battery power, which is still about $1,400. They may approve it or may not. Like I say, $80,000 for over 100 rescue squads throughout the state. That's what they're going to do.
we pay for this with LGA fund, that's, and the cost severance fund comes in for discretionary, where we make the donations to the fire departments and rescue squad anyway. I believe we can handle that, especially given the situation up the river with the little boy.
Yeah.
That's a $800 well spent.
Just imagine it's yours.
That's right.
You want anything and everything.
Yeah. All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Ms. Marshall, floor is yours.
Six too long. Got something I'm gonna just pass one out to each one.
I guess for the record, I probably need to read this in, don't you?
If she's filing this as a formal petition, this is one we addressed time and time again. I think it's covered, we've been through this, she's been to the fiscal court 3-4 times over the years.
I've been after it for a long time. I'm not sure what the problem is.
This was covered in civil action over circuit court on that, and they've been instructed time and time again to take that. If she wants to petition the court, she needs to file a petition because you make the name of the property owner that's involved in the civil court.
It is.
And if you want to have another hearing on that to adopt it, it's the same process you did on the monetary court.
Greg, I don't understand why you keep telling,
Ruby, you and I have talked about it. You've been to my office no less than 3-4 times.
it is a public road. And
It's a public road, it's not a county road, it's a public road.
I'm
It's not
asking them.
That's what I'm telling you, sweetheart, you gotta file a petition if you want, because you gotta name the other person that doesn't want it in there, that you're into it with up there and have been
I'm not
for years.
into it with anybody.
Well, yeah.
We have
you are.
maintained this
You
road.
are, and that's why you've had a circuit court action on this, that's why
Yeah.
I've heard it time and time again on this, sweetheart. And we went through this time and time and over.
Okay, then, Greg, let me ask you this. Then, if it's not a county road, each time we want to work on it, we have to get approval from the fiscal court to work on the road.
I haven't
Otherwise,
changed my opinion, Matt, you was magistrate the last term, she's been
Yeah, I
with you
don't
several times.
remember us
on this.
approving
I'm not-
anything, we heard.
no,
We never approved it.
No.
No.
each time I'd ask, that's why we can't work on it. Because any civilian can sue us if we work on a public road. That's why I'm coming before you. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Just tell me.
Well, I want to do it the legal way. So the legal process is what he's explained to you, and then that's the process that we have to go through.
How do we have to go back to circuit court?
Nobody said no, we're going back to circuit court.
Well, they went ahead and
It
made a
was in-
ruling on it's public road. Just a minute ago, you heard her talk about public road, then you heard her shift to the county road. They want the county road system because they all want you all done it, okay? We went over this time and time again. It was ruled on in the court, circuit court, as it when they took it
That it
through
was a
that.
public
That was
road.
a public road. A public road is not a county road because it's accepted by fiscal court in the county road system.
I'm asking the fiscal
So
court
if she's
to
petitioning the
accept.
court to do that, you all would have to vote to take it in there, but you gotta notify the other property owner and have a hearing like you did on the other. Because you've got somebody else protesting or challenge, but you got.
So there are somebody
They-
protesting.
Absolutely.
They have,
Absolutely.
if the fiscal court votes on it, they have 30 days to protest.
I made you the copies of all those laws several times, Ruby, so you should know them by now. Yeah, that's right.
I do.
Yeah, we've
And
been over it
the
several times.
fiscal court can make it a county road.
That's
Then,
right.
anybody who is against it has 30 days to petition for it not to be.
You got to name them in there, so, yeah. All,
So
Is that not
you have to file a petition for that to become a county road, then we have to appoint the surveyor, have the county surveyor go out and look at it, then we'll have to have a public hearing.
that's correct.
We went through this step by step on a.
Okay, so all I need to do is
You'll
give
need,
me a petition.
you need to come with a petition asking that it be made a county road.
How many signatures do I need?
It's not a matter of signature, you can petition yourself if you want to.
And then we'll go through the process.
I mean, you can see, for years, we've maintained the road. But I'm getting old, and my family's getting old.
and we would like to preserve the road.
I understand and I'm sympathetic to that, but there's a legal way of doing that.
Okay, so
And
I
that's
need-
how we need to do it.
All I need to do is just bring your
Bring your
petition.
petition and we'll bring it up at the next fiscal court meeting and we'll appoint viewers and instruct the county surveyor to go out and look at it. Is that right, Mr. Cruz? And then when they come back with a report, then we'll have a hearing.
Okay, that's the first time I've just ever been told what I actually should do.
You know, I've made you copies at least 4
Dad,
times.
I
That's why
looked at it and I read it. This is the first time that I have been told that I need to, what I need to do.
Okay.
Well, that's the way it's in the statutes as I understand it. And that's the way we've done it already.
I wanna do it the right
Me
way.
too. Me too.
Thank you.
All righty. Any further business to come before the court? Have I forgot anything, Josie or Joe? Or I don't think so. We covered plenty. Thank everybody for coming. Appreciate attendance. And entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made. There's a second. Motion been made second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.